Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, the SUVs, grass cutting, shaving dogs. Oh my goodness gracious, it's Monday morning, long weekend for me. I mean, good Lord, if you've really followed my channel, if you think I sit around, I don't. And sometimes I think I just need to sit around. Good Lord, man. It just doesn't end. Oh, the Iceman's adventures, responsibilities. Oh, my goodness. And as always, thanks so much for those that regularly tune in on my channel. I do appreciate those that are intrigued to hit the button when the Iceman shows up with just yet another video, and you take the time to listen to me for 30 seconds or 30, 40 minutes. And so here we are, Monday morning, past this, and we're upon a new week, and it's just beautiful out here. It really is. It's just an incredibly beautiful time of year. Not too hot, not too cold, and we had some beautiful thunderstorms and rain came in last night, which is pretty cool because I cut all the grass yesterday. And then I got motivated to finally trim up the hairballs. These dogs, they just reek, and I finally got into so much work. But this gator down here that's parked out in front of my barn, that's such a useful tool to shade the dogs because they're up in the air, and it's easier than being on the ground and trying to shear them, shave them, what do you want to call. But it's just so much work. And I did all 4 dogs, and that was I would say about 3 hours plus of work. So, and am I the expert shaver? I'm not. But they really start getting really antsy on you once you get to their legs and feet. It gets very challenging. Plus, they get tired of it. Wow, the smoker is still going. That's success. That's huge success because I'm just trying to keep these birds out of here. And to a degree, I am, but to a degree, I'm not. So what are we doing today? So, every week I try to keep a theme of a word and coming up with a new word that can continue to keep it on the car and motorcycle, the ICE engine conversations. And that's not easy. But me trying to get creative and just grab something out of the thin air and bring you content. But I think today's a perfect day for conversation. Now, Keefe, you're not going upstairs. You're sitting down here with me because you're not trustworthy. Come on, pups. I just can't let you guys. You're just gonna stay down here with me. You always are up to something. So I thought to myself, wow, if you're a person that's employed, a person owns anything, then you probably know what today is. And for some people, it's a dreadful day. For others, maybe a joyful day. What day is it? It's the tax man cometh. Yes, it's tax day. It's April 15th. And you got to wonder, why did the government select April 15th to be the tax day? But this is your tax deadline to submit your taxes without having consequences of penalties and other things that come with not filing your taxes on time. So I thought, wow, what a better way to start the week than April 15th. Let's talk about the taxes. And I thought to myself, it's just really incredible. And I've talked about this so many times, and the conversations throughout my channel, how we're a third world country without these vehicles. And if you really look at your car, it's a tax machine. I mean, these vehicles are tax machines like you can't believe. It enriches our government and our country like never ever seen. And that's why the other countries that don't have all this stuff aren't very well in their infrastructure for their social justice system or their whole environment of the well-being of people, because they don't have the tax monies coming in from these material things. And so yesterday, great car show. Take a little time out on that. And my kid really does like going to the car show. It's really fun to hear because sometimes I think she doesn't want to go. But I talk a lot. And as usual, I'll run into somebody that I haven't met before. I find a car and I talk about it. And I tried to get a little creative yesterday by doing the Dunkin' Donuts. I gave out Dunkin' Donuts and coffee. And then I got creative and took the Dunkin' Donut cups and I put my Ice Age sticker on there. But coffee didn't really go over very well. The donuts, everybody got those. Kids got them. But I just thought that'd be a creative way to advertise the channel. And you know what? Great people. And I just like trying to be creative and give back a little bit here and there, if you know what I mean. So good day. Had a fun time. But it really was basically go to the car show and turn around and come back home and start cutting grass. And oh my gosh. So I'm the zero turn guy, which I've had for years now. And I've also had the tractor. And as you know, I bought a new tractor with an air ride seat, a mid-mount mower, and blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh. So my daughter and wife had a daughter-wife day. So they disappeared. So usually I have my kid on one zero turn, and I would be on the other zero turn, and we can knock this property out pretty quickly. But yesterday, she wasn't around, so I started cutting the grass with my not big, but my smaller cab tractor. Interesting, where the wife's going. So I started cutting grass. Oh my gosh. You just don't know till you cut grass how it's just, the ground is not like driving on the street. It's got bumps, imperfections. It's the country. It's an old farm. And it beats the crud out of you. So I literally did 2/3 of the property, but eventually I was so worn out getting beat up on that tractor that I went to my zero turn mower. Come here, boy. Aw, come here, Kiwi. You okay? Come here. It's okay. Come here. So, you got a ball? You have a ball? I don't know if I have a ball back here for you or not. Here, boy. Want a ball? So, I think I do. I do have a ball for you. Hey, here's a ball. So anyways, I went back to the conventional way of cutting grass and went to my zero turn mower, which is far more efficient, and it doesn't beat the crud out of you. If I can get my bag out, which I don't know if I kind of can't. It's always a project. And I just want to keep Kiefer boy entertained here because he's kind of looking for something to do. So I got a ball here for you. Here you go. There you go. Can you get the ball? So, good boy. Get the ball. What's going on? Here you go. So anyways, back to the tax conversations. These cars, I've talked about this on my channel, but once again, some people haven't seen every bit of my conversations, and I thought to myself, how do we talk about the taxes and cars and vehicles? And since I used to work in the gasoline industry, I used to sell fuel, I used to deliver fuel, I'm very abreast of road taxes, of the amount of money that's collected for you driving these vehicles, and the monies are supposed to be allocated and used for the state to fund the school systems and the federal highways to maintain their roads. And over the years, they've then created metro taxes for individual metro areas to take the monies to supplement taxes. So and the average, it's all over the place. Each state has different tax. One state has maybe 42 cents in gas tax between federal and state. Another state may have 44 or 48, so it's all over the place. But just to keep math simple, excuse me, I would just say that there's 50 cents a gallon on average that is a tax on a gallon of gas. So when you go to the gas station, you put 10 gallons of fuel in your car, you just contributed $5 in taxes to the infrastructure of our country. Now, to make it a little more simple, to be very conservative, the average gas station sells 150,000 gallons of fuel. Well, just what's 150 divided by 2? It's 75 grand. Very conservative. Costco gas station could sell 1 million to 1.5 million to 2 million gallons a month. So a Costco that's near me here, it's making the state of Virginia, just out of one gas station, just 1 million gallons times 50 cents, $500,000 a month. If it sells 1.5, that's like $750,000 a month that's being collected from the Costco users of buying gas. But what really intrigued me to bring up this tax conversation was this right here. It's these electric vehicles that don't pay road taxes. And it's a long, ongoing conversation that started many years ago when the EV vehicles started populating, and they do want to try to get a plan. Now, just keep in mind, I shaved 4 dogs yesterday. If I'm coughing up this morning, you probably know why. Jesus Christ. You know how much stuff I inhaled? A lot of people think that I'm allergic to my dogs. You're probably hearing me this morning, the amount of debris. Yeah, could I worn a mask? I'm not that smart, but yeah, am I really hacked up? Yes, I am. Oh, here he goes. So what happens is all these different areas where the dog, he can lose his ball. So he's already lost the ball. It just doesn't end. My gosh. So yeah, if you hear me coughing, yeah, if you watch my shave video and you see how much debris I shaved off these dogs, oh my gosh. And yeah, are we the perfect people that shampoo our dogs on a regular basis? No way. It just doesn't work because out here in the country, these dogs run down the pond. All right, here's another ball. Look, here's another ball. Is he distracting us this morning? Pretty much. Can I get it out with one hand? Not really. Yep, there it goes again. Watch. Look, there it goes. Another one gone. Forget it. That ain't worth it, man. Look at that there. So, I tried my best this morning, little Keefy boy. Oh, Keefy, it's right here. Come here, Keef. Oh, there it is. Look, boy. There you go. So, anyways, for the EV vehicles, I was reading this morning that there's, apparently there's like 4 million EVs in our country at this time right now. So I said to myself, okay, they say the average miles a person drives a year is 15,000 miles. So, and once again, I mean, we'll just take basic numbers. So you took 15,000 miles and you say to yourself, the average fuel economy is 18 miles per gallon or 20 miles per gallon. It comes up to like 750 to 800 gallons a year that you as a taxpayer contribute to the system. So if you take that $800 a year, just to keep numbers simple, take $800 that you contribute to fund the roads and the system, the tax system. But then you go over to the EV side and you take that same equation of how 4 million EV people aren't paying into the road infrastructure. It comes out to close to like $2 billion. It comes out to that the EV people are skating the government $2 billion. But the EV dominance in the country isn't even 1%. So it's a very minuscule number of how much money the government's, basically government is receiving 1% less of tax money from EV users. But then you say to yourself, if everybody's getting these tax credits, which not everybody does, but last year there were over 1 million electric vehicles sold. And let's just say that between a SUV and a truck, there's $3,500 federal credit or $7,500 truck credit. And let's just say we go down the line, it's $4,000. And let's just take that million, you take the million sales of EV vehicles times the $4,000. Oh my gosh. I mean, you're talking about billions of dollars that's being shorted in the government and that us the taxpayers are subsidizing for this EV movement. But it's, once again, there's nobody here. I don't think there's anybody on my channel that's not really cognizant of this because it's being talked about for years and years. And as time progresses, but remember what I just said though, it's such a minuscule amount of money that the government's not seeing because it collects trillions of dollars, borderline, for all the other individuals in our country, between the truckers and the cars, even the boaters. If you're a boater, it's so stupid. You're paying road taxes on boat fuel. Did you know that? And you know why? I used to sell this stuff. It's because people cheat the system. If you're a marina, you can have a gas tank that you're selling behind the scenes, unbeknownst to the state or federal officials. You're selling on the side non-tax gasoline because it's just boat gas. Well, that goes on. It's a huge problem years ago with diesel fuel. So back in the day, you'd have big truckers buying off-road diesel fuel because off-road fuel is considered for tractors, excavation equipment, lawnmowers, and it's not being used on the road. So they were exempt for all those heavy taxes. So the cheaters would tell you to deliver off-road fuel in their big 1,000-gallon fuel tank. And as soon as you left, I mean, I witnessed this, all the truckers are rolling up, filling up their trucks. And back then, that was 30, 40 cents a gallon savings. So the federal government said, we know how to fix this. We're going to dye the fuels. So now you have a green fuel and a red fuel, and one fuel is off-road, one fuel is on-road. And everybody knows, if you're a trucker and you get pulled over, the state officer or whoever may be the person will dip your fuel tank, and if you got the wrong color fuel in that tank, then you get an instant like $10,000 fine. And back in the day, that was a huge way of skating the tax system by using. So the whole point of the boat thing is, all you boaters out there, you're paying your fuel at the marina is expensive for many reasons. It's number one, it has road taxes included in it. Number two, the marina doesn't sell 100,000 gallons of fuel a month. They'll sell maybe 10,000 gallons. I used to sell it to marinas. I know the numbers. In a good season, they may sell 10,000 gallons of fuel at the marina. Well, if you're a marina guy and you pay $3 for gas, and you get you mark it up to $4. Yeah, to some people, like, well, he made $10,000. Whip-de-doo-dah. That's only just a part of time of the year, the season, to be maintaining fuel equipment on site for marina and all the, the insurance, the liabilities, keeping all the equipment upgraded and to the codes and blah, 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 and people to fill up the boat and la, 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 la. It ain't no money. And it's only in the other 6 months of the year, they maybe sell 1,000 to 3,000 gallons a month. So anyways, so with all of these taxes, these cars, our cars and trucks, they support a huge infrastructure to our government that has been crucial to the well-being of the infrastructure. But at the same time, the government is more than ever on the green agenda. Yes, last year, 2022, 64% increase in EV sales. And people can say the EV sales are dead in the water. They're not. EV vehicles are still selling. They're not selling at the rapid pace they initially kind of got, but they are selling. So if anybody thinks that the EVs are just nobody buys them anymore, you're foolish. They buy them. Just like on my channel, it just befuddles me how I make YouTube videos and I talk about the success or places I go and I see what's going on around me in the country. And my subscriber base and my views is piddly in comparison to the guy that will make the video that will tell everybody the RV industry is going to go bankrupt and it's done. It's bankrupt. It's over. Nobody can sell RVs. And then people say, well, you live in this DC market. Well, you know what? I'm not going to take that excuse anymore for my subscribers because these dealerships that I deal with, people come from Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina. I mean, sorry. There's the wealth out there is bigger than most people want to accept. And there's always going to be challenging times. You're always going to have at some point in your life, you have challenges more than you had before, but it's not forever. It's just like playing games. You lose a lot, and then you can figure out a strategy how to win. You'll win. That's life. Start learning how to win in life and quit watching these loser video people that are making a ton of money off of you for the clickbait that everything's in dire straits. These guys are a bunch of scammers. I am totally convinced that most of these YouTubers out there are the biggest scam in modern times of convincing people that everybody's going broke and it's all going to come to an end. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. You're always going to have the poor. You're always going to have the rich. You're always going to have the middle of the road. It's always going to be that way. So for these doomers, gloomers, the reason I'm saying this, and I'm kind of getting a little amped up, because if you watch my channel, you now know that I purchased an RV camper. And that dealer sold 164 RVs last month. That dealer sold close to 1,500 RVs last year. And the year before. And the year before. And the year before. It never ends. That dealership there is a gold mine. Mr. Kelly up there has an incredibly successful RV dealer. Now, Camping World, if those guys are hurting, I have no pity for them. Camping World went out and just bought up every freaking RV dealer they could, overreached themselves, and then the personalized side of the Camping World thing, if if you're comparing that, then CarMax is doomed. Just like Carvana. Does anyone remember over a year ago, Carvana was supposed to file bankruptcy and they'd be gone and done? Has that happened? No, but you'll watch the clickbait guys. They'll tell you it's all over. So you, for yourself, you're just really reinforcing the losing way of life by watching the losers. Why do people watch? I mean, I get it. Misery loves misery. So now, when you go back to the cars and the taxes, and you think about how many hands touch these cars that are employed that pay into the tax system. It's huge. How many, we just had the big union, UAW, Sean Fain pounding his chest, how he got everybody's income increased. And Joe Biden going there and standing there and telling everybody how great it's going to be as he continues to change the way things will be in the future and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. The federal government loves this stuff. Why? Because higher payroll is higher payroll taxes. Until you're a business owner, you have no idea how brutal payroll taxes is. When you hire somebody, you just factor 3%, 5%, it depends what state you're in. You're going to pay them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% more because of matching taxes. $50,000 employee is probably making $52,000 or $53,000 because of the payroll tax liabilities. Whole point is, when the federal government sees that the UAW and Big Ford and Big GM, Big Stellantis, Ram, Dodge, Jeep have been forced to hand to increase all their payroll by 1/3 to 1/2, that's a huge windfall for the federal government and the state localities, because they're going to see more payroll taxes, more taxes. I've talked about this before on my channel. This guy that created Bass Pro Shops, the guy was a genius. Why? Because he would be able to lure in the localities of his vision of him putting a big camping, fishing place to go buy all your paraphernalia and all your gear, and the amount of money he would create from the tax revenues would offset him asking the state to subsidize them building the infrastructure. Yeah, the guy was a brilliant guy. He literally would sell out the local politicians, the state officials, that if they would put the money up to build the facility, in X amount of years, the amount of money they put into it would be rewarded by 100 times because of all the tax money that the place is going to create. I talked about it down there in Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia. The Bass Pro Shops was originally going to be in the Virginia side. And at the last second, Tennessee had a sweeter deal for him, and he literally moved 100 yards over and put his business in Tennessee, and it pissed the hell out of freaking Virginia, to the point that Virginia won't give them Virginia access to that facility to make it easier to get in and out of that big facility when I'm down there. So it's all about the tax money. I mean, and for you as a tax individual, for the amount of money you feel like you put into the system, you think to yourself, what am I getting back? And anymore, you think to yourself, no, it's more like, what am I giving that'll never be seen, that for those that don't even contribute to the tax system? That's a whole nother, that conversation can go on all day long. But so once again, you go to these cars and they're tax machines. Because what do you do as an individual? I mean, I run into people all the time. And I hear people on my channel all the time. And we all want to have something bigger or better. We want to be better. We want to make more money. Well, what comes with that is more tax liability. Because when you go out and make more money, you're paying more into the tax system. When you go out and buy a more expensive truck or car, you're paying more sales tax on that vehicle. And then for you, there's some other things to kind of go with that, because now you got to buy insurance for it, and that may cost you more money. You may have to have a more expensive repair done to the car, so that may be a bigger ticket. That's what you hear. A lot of people like, this Corvette over here, I know this is a car that's technically going to be 10 years old this year, and oh boy, this thing doesn't have any warranty on it. I haven't bought an extended warranty, so you know as well as I do, if something goes wrong with this car and goes to the shop, there could be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 bill very quickly. In the state of Virginia, there's going to be 6% tax on that. So the state of Virginia is going to get rewarded for my ineptness of buying yet another car. And then people talk always about my personal property tax and all this. And, oh, dude, blah, 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 blah. Well, for the record, the personal property tax for me, I'm not embellishing to you. I'm not here to prove I'm bigger and better than you. In the 30 years I've lived here, I'm not lying to you. I've paid in over $500,000 in personal property tax to this county. Think this through. If I had any brains, I'd be one state over. Like in West Virginia, I'd be one state over. And think how much money I could have of $500,000. I could have paid for a house. Instead, I gave it to the county, Loudoun County, Virginia. Yes. No, but, here's the kicker. Between the different states, the one state, I insure a car, and it's $850 a year. Florida, it's close to $3,000 a year. So in so many ways, it's not even worth it. That just gets into the, yeah, right. I'd like to know who's paid $500,000 into Loudoun County's tax system, and what do I have to show for it? What do I have to show for it besides a road called Route 15? That's the worst freaking road in this area, because the county and state have done nothing for it. Nothing. Goose egg. They continue to go back and forth and argue. But here's another thing. The whole pandemic created less people going to work. So unbeknownst to most people, the gas station industry has seen a huge decline in gas sales. And I get it. There's still the hot spots. The Buc-ee's, you go to Buc-ee's, you'll never believe that place is hurt. It isn't. It's a gold mine. But they just siphoned off all the other gas stations' business. So you go to Costco, and you'll see all these people there. You'll be like, hey, Iceman, you know what? My local Costco has people lined up. Instead of look across the street at the gas station. Look at the small guy gas station. There's nobody there. So just everybody's congregated at one place. So it's easy for you to say, oh, man, this guy's so full of baloney. These gas stations make so much money. I go by a Costco. I go by the Wawas, the Sheetz. I go by the Buc-ee's. This guy's full of BS, man. He doesn't know the hell he's talking about. Yeah, well, at those locations, you just turn around and look at the other smaller independent gas stations and see if you see the same amount of people at those gas stations. Because those gas stations collect a lot of tax money, and that's why they muscle their way into these smaller gas station guys and end up muscling them out of the business, is because for the Wawa, not only are they generating the gas sales, they're generating C sales, which means convenience store sales, which means the lotto tickets. That's huge, huge. The sandwiches, the drinks, the chips, the candy. It's huge. Those C stores probably do $500,000 a month in C store sales. You think I'm making this stuff up? Well, at 6%, that's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 just in taxes in 1 month, not including the gas station probably pumping 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 gallons a month, because they siphoned off all the other smaller guys' gas stations business. Which, as time progresses, you give it 10 years, you're going to see a lot of these little mom and pop independent gas station dealers. They're going to be gone. They're not going to survive, because the evolution of this EV technology is not going to stop. That's a whole other conversation I can talk to you about on another day, and what's going to start to really happen here in the next 3 to 5 years. It's pretty incredible what's going on. But for most people, think this is dead in the water, never will make it. You're a fool. I'm not here to challenge you. I'm just telling you, this ain't going to stop. And the technology is advancing. I'll talk more about that another day, because this will just turn into a very, very, very long video, because it's all about the tax man. And this is what cracks me up. You get on X. Does anybody like Mark Cuban? I think Mark Cuban's such an arrogant SOB. Does anybody really like Mark Cuban? I really don't like that guy, because he comes across as such an arrogant individual. What the heck was that? He just comes across very brass. So I just don't like the guy. I know he's created opportunity for a lot of people. He's been very successful. But on X, he says that he just got his taxes done, and he's going to give the IRS $288 million in taxes. Now, that could be state and fed. Keep that in mind. So people on the X are then kind of, then commenting. And what cracks me up on X, these people that create content, they post this content, and then they may interact 1 or 2 comments back, then they're out. But then there'll be thousands and thousands, just like the guys that on these YouTube channels that have 20, 30, 40, 50,000, views, and they have these comments, and you'll maybe see the creator of the YouTube channel that may respond to a few people, but then they're out. And you just have to wonder, it's like, how is that like real? Are these guys using bots? Are these guys being paying people off to watch their content? Because it's just the interaction disappears. So I said to everyone on X, I said, classic posters trying to talk to a rich guy on X. But then what I said, I went back at Mark Cuban, I said, this makes no sense to me. Because Joe Biden and other political party people say that the rich people don't pay enough money in. And really the post was all about Donald Trump. It was a kick in the pants of Donald Trump that he doesn't pay any taxes. And so Mark Cuban is, pounding his chest that he's the greatest guy in the world, and he pays in so much to his government, he should be gifted to be the king of the world in this country. But then I was like, if Mark Cuban's example of the wealthy people that pay in so much money to the tax system, as he's implying, except for a select few, why are the politicians going after the wealthy people? Why is Joe Biden saying that the wealthy people don't pay enough taxes? I mean, sincerely. So I asked Mark Cuban that. Is he going to respond to me? Heck, not going to respond to me. So what's the point? Are the politicians lying to us? Are the politicians not really sharing with us that actually the very wealthy people pay into the system much bigger than most realize? And it's just the old, what's the weird lady out of Connecticut, Warren? I can't even remember that lady's name. The lady's sitting there drinking beer to run for presidency with her husband or something. Yeah, she's always insane. And what's it? Bernie Sanders. These are always political activists that say the wealthy people don't pay anything in the system, and that the middle guy and the little guys pay everything into it, and the rich people don't pay much, if anything. I really don't know. I just know the rich people have lawyers. I just know rich people are usually politicians, and they seem to usually write laws that cater to them. Yes, I mean, if you think it through, political figures end up being very wealthy and successful, and why wouldn't they write laws that are advantageous to them that would enrich them to pay less taxes by having loopholes? Hello. I mean, I don't disagree. There should just be a flat tax. Everyone should just pay a flat tax. It doesn't matter if you're legal or illegal. When you go to the store to buy things, you just pay a tax. Everybody has to pay the same tax. Wait a second. But then the rich people wouldn't be able to enjoy all the tax write-offs of all the money they make. And blah, blah, it gets heavy, it gets deep. Listen to the birds. Are they happy? The birds are happy, and is Kiefer happy? Come on, Kiefer. Come on up here. Get up here. Let's get up here. So get up the way here to kind of end the conversations for the morning on the tax day. And you got to get your taxes. And you know how busy the post office will be today? Every your brother just show up to take the mail in their taxes. Yeah, who doesn't know these stories, right? So, the Keefy boy. Good car show. A lot of fun. A lot of good things. And what's interesting is the guys are getting after me because cars and cigars, my good friend Brent, B-R-E-N-T, Brent, if you listen to me, I know it's Brent. Some people think it's Brett, who has the Corvette Z06. He was like, where were you? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. What are you talking about? He's like, why didn't you come to the freaking cigars and coffee event where 1,000 people showed up down there in Ashburn, Virginia Saturday? I said, I was out buying an RV. Yeah. So if you think about me, I've talked about it before. Last year, I bought 34 vehicles. And just at a very conservative number. Okay, Keith, get your ball. Here, get your ball. Get your ball. Take your ball upstairs. Go upstairs. And just stay there. Just stay there. Everybody just stay there. Come on. If you take 34 vehicles, let's just say I averaged $2,000 a vehicle in taxes, that'd be close to $70,000 in taxes. Now, I'll just dial it back, and I'll say $1,000. That's $34,000. And then I paid another $20,000 in personal property tax. Just for me, the Iceman, I contributed $54,000 just in buying vehicles to the states, county, And then you factor in my real estate tax. Then you factor in my own tax, my wife's tax. Last year I contributed probably $150,000 or more. Yeah, in taxes. But that's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. You're too, people don't attack me being rich. They're saying, hey, it just doesn't end. The dog, right? Yeah, so it's a tax man coming for you. And the interesting thing here in this property here is the guy that bought this property from a man that owned it, because this used to be a 200-acre farm. This went to the tax foreclosure. Yeah, it's a fact. So Jim Athey, gentleman that blessed me to have this house, which I was blessed, I mean, really was, for how that all played out in my life. And but the former owner, he had tax liabilities, and this went to a tax foreclosure back like in 1989. And so a gentleman named Jim Athey, that was a developer and builder, he bought this whole 200 acres, and then he subdivided everything around this farmhouse. And that's how it got to be what it is and where I am today. And I found this house out of making a phone call out of a phone book. I didn't, back in 1991, you didn't have internet access. You didn't have, it wasn't, I didn't call a realtor. I just started calling builders out of a phone book to see if they had any property. And the odds for me to find this guy that was this area that I always wanted to live in when I was on sales calls and driving a tanker truck so many years ago, just, wow, are you blessed? And that's the thing, what do you focus on? What's your focus? Are you focused on success in life or just being a total failure? And you know what? Go watch all these videos, guys. Another video we posted today, the car market's over. The car market's over. And if you listen to my videos, if you actually spend time and actually listen to my videos, there's so many things in there that are spliced in of what's going on and things. So I could talk to my good friend Muhammad, who works up here at Dulles Dodge, and I was asking him, how it's going. And he said, April's terrible. I'm like, really? I said, well, how was March? He said, one of my better months in a long time. How many cars you sell? He said, I sold 21 cars. And the dealership there had one of its better months in a while. But April's terrible. But I said, it's just this April? He's like, no, it's every April. I'm like, why? He's like, I don't know. I think I know why. It's the tax time. I think everybody in March has submitted their taxes back in January, early January, February. They got their tax refund by February, March, and now they have money to go buy a car. Well, the people in April, those are people waiting the last second to pay their taxes, so they owe money to the IRS, and they don't have the extra cash flow to go buy a car or buy something. So you never think about how many people are retired. You know how many friends I have now that are retired? So what befuddles me is this country right now is at the highest level ever of the 65-year-old age group. So it's like, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that can't retire, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that have retirement packages. That this doom and gloom, they're going to be, waste of time. I know, I talk about it here and there, but anyways, the whole point is, this is my channel. You'll hear me I'll talk to somebody on a personal level as they're on my channel, and they'll be telling things the way it is. And then my trailer dealer buddy, so now I'm going to sell my car hauler. Haven't had a lot of hits on that. He thinks I could get 18, 19 grand out of it. I think it's a little salty on that, but I did advertise it for 18.5. They were looking for a nice car hauler. I'm selling the car hauler because I need to make room for my camper. And then with the car hauler, I'll have storage capability to put some of my bikes in the back of that. So that'll work for me. So meanwhile, I'm trying to sell the car hauler. Anybody out there is looking for a nice car hauler or has a friend that's into car racing, because that car hauler today, if you listen to my channel, you'll hear Lyndon at Trailer Enterprises out of Hagerstown, Maryland, who's I've known those guys for 15, close to 20 years. He tells the way it is, and for him, that same trailer today is $28,000 to $30,000. When you go to DMV to go tag and title it, and you got to pay taxes on it. Depends on where you put it. That $28,000 trailer turns into a close to $30,000 trailer. And the trailer's in great shape. So maybe out there needing a nice trailer, I got one for sale. And sure, would I negotiate the price? Of course I will. and it really is in great shape. It's 28 feet long, and it's more than enough to carry all your gear in your car. And I usually take my 2 motorcycles up front, and I can take a Ford Mustang in it, a Dodge Challenger. It's tight, but I can do it if you know what you're doing. So I talked a lot about the RV over the weekend, so I'm leaving it at that. So anyways, that's it. 40-minute in. I get it. Long conversation. As always, I appreciate everybody, reaching out and supporting me and the great comments and all that good stuff. And here is the Ice Age TV sticker, Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. And we'll start the Monday off with the tax conversations, and then where's it go from there, right? What's tomorrow's conversation? And what is going on today? I don't think anything really is going to be going on today. I got too much work to do, too many projects. So I think it'll be a quiet day for the Iceman, but that could happen. Something could change instantly. Who knows? So as always, thanks so much for watching my channel. And share the channel, help it grow, help support it, keeps me motivated. And that would be fantastic. I really appreciate that. So anyways, have a great day. God bless. Stay safe.